WatchMaestro fam, today we're going to talk about the 3 things you must never do with your beloved watches. So, to demonstrate, we have a beautiful root beer GMT Master 2 and a beautiful Submariner Bluesy. So let's get straight into it. Number 1, when watches were initially brought out, in order for you to be able to change the date on the watch, you would have no choice but to turn the hours on the watch all the way around a full 24 hours. So right now we're on the 23rd. We want to get to the 24th. You would have to continue to do this until you switched over past midnight. So right now we're just past midday on the watch. So coming up to midnight now, we should see it go from 23rd to 24th, as you can see there. Okay, so this was the only way to change the date on your watch for quite some time on watches when they first came out, until they introduced the quick date set feature, which this Submariner here has. So if you pay attention, we're on the 27th there right now, right? So without needing to go all the way around, we can just go to the quick date set feature and change to the 28th, 29th, whatever date we desire. Okay, that obviously saves a lot of time. It saves a bit of headache. It's much more convenient, and most watches these days have that feature for the user to be able to use. Here's something though that I didn't know when I first got into watches, and a lot of people don't know. That quick date set feature and the change of dates in watches actually doesn't happen immediately at midnight, right? What happens is, generally as the watch is telling time, once it gets to about 10 p.m., the gears and cogs inside the watch begin to work to change the date wheel. And the process often doesn't actually get completed until about 2 a.m. So you should never change the quick date set feature on your watch between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. For me personally, just to be safe, I never do it between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. So when I want to change the date on my watch using the quick date set feature, I go to, for example, maybe 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. and then I will go ahead and change the date on the watch itself, right? To prevent any damage to those small, intricate and delicate cogs and gears and things like that, which is actually not that difficult to do if you consistently, all the time, change the date on your watch between those hours whilst the changeover is actually happening. So that's mistake number 1 that you should never make with your watches. Mistake number 2, unless of course you're a celebrity, an eccentric person who just really genuinely doesn't care about what other people think of you, or you're a scuba diver, or your job somehow requires you to, never ever wear your watch on top of your clothes or your shirt sleeve. Watches should always go under the sleeve, or of course, if you have short sleeves, they just go on your wrist, and that's no issue there. You'd be surprised at how many people you see doing this. A lot of times it's for the purpose of trying to show off that they have a watch, and they actually look like idiots. So that's the second mistake. The third mistake you must never make with your watch is mistreating it. And what I mean by that is, see, as much as watches these days, especially something like the Rolex Submariner, is built very rugged, rough, it's a tool watch, and it is genuinely very resistant to a lot of bumps and dings and scratches and things like that, still, you should treat it with respect. This bezel, when you want to change it, you should just turn it as needed, as required. You don't need to be extra rough with it, extra fast with it, or anything like that. Another example is when people screw down the crown after setting the time, they overscrew the crown. That can, over time, of course, wear down the crown inside the crown. And doing things like this, where you mistreat the watch or you're a little bit too rough with the watch, what that does is over time, it causes wear and tear on the watch quicker than is actually needed. And that can end up being heavy on your wallet. You're going to have to bring your watch in for repairs that you otherwise would have not needed to, at least not for a while, not for a couple of years. So always treat the watch the way it was intended to be treated. Don't throw it around. Don't be extra forceful with certain mechanics of it or parts of it, and just use it as it was intended. Those are my three points about things that you must never do with your watch. You let us know in the comments below what other things I may have missed and what things you think people shouldn't do with their watches.